Hello, everyone. We're going to be covering how to set up the Sirge URL parameters in your Facebook ads so that way you can ensure the tracking is accurate and everything is good to go, whether you're using existing posts and changing existing ads, or if you're creating new ads. I'll show you both ways to do it so that way you can 100% make sure that it's fully set up the right way. First step is making sure that you connect to your Facebook ad account. So you'll hit connect. In connections, you'll hit select an ad account. You'll choose the ad account that you'll be connecting. This will be the ad account that you're going to be pulling data from and tracking from as well. We'll hit connect. Once connected, you'll see the ad account is connected and you'll go to your performance dashboard. The dashboard will then be generated, and what we'll need to do to pull in the campaigns is to add the UTM parameters to all active ads and new ads that you create. All ads will need the Sirge UTM parameters to track with 100% efficiency. So the first thing we can do is start to generate that UTM. And in this case, we'll go ahead and type in the website that we're going to be tracking from. And here you'll see that it generates the URL with the tracking parameters. And the thing that we need to copy in this case is going to be this portion here for our existing ads. So we'll copy this. We'll go to our ads manager. And in our ads manager, we have active campaigns, ad sets, and we're going to start placing these tracking codes on our active ads. So that way we can start tracking the parameters from our Shopify site. And so we'll go into these ad sets, go to our ad level. And here you'll see all of our actual ads. And to confirm whether or not you have UTM or URL parameters already set up, we'll go ahead and click the View Setup button, this toggle here. And this toggle shows us exactly what parameters have already been placed. And in this case, it looks like we already have UTM parameters placed in tracking, but we don't have the Sirge ones attached as of yet. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start editing these ads. We'll hit edit. And you'll see that from the actual setup that we're using existing posts. This means that we already have active ads and we already have a URL. We're already running these ads. And all we need to do is just update this URL parameter. If you don't have anything here, yours might look empty. That's totally fine. We're simply just placing the tracking script here. So it should look like this once you paste it in here. It'll have the tracking parameters and you'll see the Sirge tracking parameters. If yours looks like this, then you know that you've placed it in the right spot. And once we've done that, we can check to see if it's been placed. And you'll see that the URL parameters show now that it has the Sirge parameters appended. You need to make sure that every single active ad has this in order for it to track. And it looks like all of our ads have it, which is great. And now what we'll do is we'll adjust this column to confirm that there's no other tracking parameters on our URL because this can affect the tracking. So we're checking our link and it looks like none of the links have an additional UTM, which is good. So as long as all of the parameters look identical, which they are in this case, they all say Sirge, which is good. You'll want to double check that to make sure they all say the same thing. And if they do, then you know you've set it up correctly. And so you can hit review and publish. And we'll go ahead and hit publish. And once published, you'll see that it shows you the check marks that the ad has published. And we can press this refresh button just to confirm that everything was placed accurately. And if we hit edit, we can also double check just to see that the parameters are in fact placed in the correct spot and they are there. Once you've placed it on all active ads, they'll go into review again, which is totally fine because they should only be in review for a few minutes, at most up to an hour. And that's just going to allow the ads to activate again and continue running how they previously were, except this time you're going to have better tracking because your data is going to start pulling into Sirge from this moment forward once they're actually active. It won't pull in the data from previous days or months into Sirge. Sirge will only start tracking from the moment that you place them on your ads moving forward, it will start tracking those parameters from your ads. So that way you can see exactly where purchases are coming from. Now, we have other campaigns here as well, and we'll want to make sure that we place the parameters on all of these campaigns. So if we go into our other campaigns and see here on our ad sets, we go to the ad level. We'll see that we have additional ads here. If we hit edit, these are carousel ads. And so if we scroll down, we'll see that there's no parameters specifically placed on any of these. So what we'll do is we will place the URL parameters at the bottom here again. And if you have parameters here, you'll just want to remove them and make sure that they're all in the URL parameter section. So that way it's super clean and organized. And we can confirm that we place them in the correct spots and that no other parameters are on the link and that only the search tracking script is there. We can hit review and publish. And now our retargeting audiences have the tracking script as well. And so if we go to our campaign level and continue along the line, we'll continue to update all of these audiences until our parameters have been placed on every single ad. Once you've placed all of the parameters on your ads, you can confirm that they've all been set up correctly by double checking with the view setup to confirm that every single one has been placed and is accurate. In this case, every single parameter is there. So if we go to our performance dashboard, you should see that your campaigns are now pulling in. And the data will come from your Facebook Ads Manager. And then there'll be a column that's for Sirge purchases, Sirge return ad spend, Sirge cost per purchase. And you can start to see once that your ads have been delivering for a few days with the actual tracking, you'll start to notice that the data gets pulled in. And here you can see that Sirge has tracked one of the purchases and Facebook has attributed one of the purchases to a Valentine's Day campaign, but in reality, that person actually converted after clicking on a retargeting campaign. And we can actually see who this individual is by clicking on this specific visitor and finding out who they are and how much they spent. In this case, we can actually see that the tracking picked up the total conversion value that Facebook missed, and that was a result of a 12x return on ad spend, ultimately revealing in a 2.53x, and Facebook only tracking a 1.19x. This allows us to see the more true return on ad spend and know exactly where these sales are coming from. And we can validate who these individuals are just by clicking on the actual icons and seeing exactly what return on ad spend is being tracked, the conversion value is being tracked, who the people are, and we can confirm that the values are accurate just by seeing who those individuals are. Facebook reporting a 0.84, but ROAS is actually a 3x. So therefore, you can optimize by knowing that these audiences are actually good to potentially scale because they have a great return on ad spend, which is amazing insight. So that way you have the information that you need to make optimizations and changes to your campaigns. You can even see on the ad level which independent ads are actually getting the results. Facebook attributed 3 to the same ad, when in reality that there was different purchases coming from different ads, giving you a more true insight for where sales are coming from. And anytime that you create new ads, here's what the process would look like. If you go to create and you're creating an actual ad, on the ad level, there will be a spot to input your website URL. And this is where you can hit the generate UTM button. And this is where you would paste your URL. And that's when you can actually copy that full link. And this is the use case where you would paste that entire actual parameter here. And that way you can ensure that you are tracking from new ads as well. So that way, when we check the actual setup, that parameter will be placed once it's actually published. This ensures that we're actually tracking all the ads correctly.